Hey guys, so it's been a little bit since I've taken a video. Sorry, life kind of picked up. But I'm gonna fill you guys in on just where I'm at, what I'm doing. A couple things really quick. So last video I talked about how I'm filling in the gaps on that helmet. I'm still doing that. It's almost done. I'm really excited to show it. When it's done, it'll look, at least to me, much better. But then I decided, you know what, maybe I should think about using that technique elsewhere. So I'm going to show you is the back plate. So you see, this is the back, all right? I've got it all painted in chrome. You can see there are hinges here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, because I'm gonna make moving back flaps. I'm actually gonna put 6. There are gonna be 2 additional ones here and here. I can show you essentially how they're gonna work. These are the back flaps, or some of them. There's 6 and they're all in different shapes. So the way that this works, way that I did it originally, is I made these out of foam. I then coated the exterior in a very, very thin layer of plastic, painted it, and the expectation is that this hole here was where the servo will sit. This hinge corresponds with you can't see that in the video. I cut an indentation that sets on over that hinge. The servo sits in that hole and will literally open and close them. Looks pretty cool. Now, if you'll notice, I've got this metal strips built in, glued to the back. That's because this is foam. Foam naturally sits very flat. Obviously, this plane on this back is curved. So in order to get it so it sits flush against the back all the way down, so it's not sitting, you can kind of see that, just sitting off, but it actually sits tight, I put a piece of metal here and drilled these little holes for rare earth magnets. So a rare earth magnet will sit there. It'll clamp at the very tips of all of the appropriate flaps. You can see. Clamp the tip down to keep it closer to the form. That was my original plan. And it was going pretty well. I was decently pleased with how it was all working. But I was like, problem with using foam for these is, number one, this is a good and a bad thing, is that they're very light. So it's easy for the servo to move them up and down, which is great. But if you remember from some of my earlier videos, I don't know how well you can see that. You can see it's not smooth. It's very hard to get plastic coated foam to have a smooth finish. So it's like, which normally, okay, for some pieces doesn't matter. For a little piece like this, won't matter. But the problem is there's actually 6 of these. Almost this entire back will be taking up all of this space, and then all of this space, and then on this side, all of that is going to be foam backed, plastic backed foam. It's gonna make the whole back not look so great. I mean, I went through all the work of smoothing this whole thing out, and then I'm gonna have the majority of the back covered up by a non-smooth surface. Not crazy about it. So then I thought, you know what, maybe I'll do is I'll just do a different finish, because remember I said this is plastic coated foam. The plastic isn't the best. There's a different coating material I could use called, that's made by this company called Roscoe. So I ordered some and I was going to use that. But then I was like, you know what? And completely remake these and use that as a finish. And that would work. But it would still be very difficult to get these things to sit completely flush. See if I can actually show you what I mean. Probably going to be really hard for you to see on the video. But you'll notice this is this wrong side fits over here. Right? So if you can see, even when that will be actually put in, it will never sit completely flush. You can see the corner there. You can see there's a gap there because this is foam. it's not possible for me to get it to match the contour exactly. So what I was thinking I might do is employ that new method, tape these over, and actually go ahead and make them out of plastic completely, just like this guy. This entire back is made out of completely smooth plastic. Make them out of complete plastic, and then just smooth them down. That'll allow me to literally get each piece to match nearly exactly the surface it's supposed to, which is good. Make the whole thing look a lot more flush, and will let me get a smoother surface. It will make them heavier, but I think the surface I got is strong enough to handle it. So that's one of the next things I'm gonna be working on. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna remake all these back flaps out of solid plastic by taping this off with duct tape, partitioning the appropriate spots, pouring the plastic in, letting it solidify and set, pulling that out, sanding it down, and bondoing up the edges to make it actually sit completely flush in the appropriate spots, or as flush as I care to go. So that's one of the things I'm going to be redoing / working on or optimizing. The next thing, so this bag is actually one of the gloves. Let's see if I can, how much of this I can show you. But you'll see I've got, like for example, that is the back of the wrist plate. This is the actual palm. That circle will be cut out to put the LEDs for the repulsors, all the various finger digits, because every single digit has its own sections. So, I mean, I had to cut out a lot of these little things. So I scaled all mine separately, printed them out, cut them, shaped them, glued them, and then I coated it in just fiberglass resin, just the exterior in fiberglass resin. It makes it a little bit firmer. It's not than just normal paper, normal cardstock. The problem is it's not firm enough. If you'll notice, for example, this is the first digit of the middle finger. It sits right there. The part that goes on the inside of the finger is very thin. So when you put it on, this very thin section comes across your finger. That is the weak link. And for a lot of these, because this is just cardstock coated in fiberglass resin, that was breaking. Once I put it over the gloves I was going to be wearing, for example, you can see here, that one broke. So I need to make these much stronger. They can't just be cardstock and fiberglass resin. So I'm going to actually have to fiberglass them using actual fiberglass mat, and then shave them down, sand the interior so I'm not stabbing myself with fiberglass, and then affix them to the gloves. So all of these, not all of them are going to have to be remade. Some of them are still functional. I'll just have to actually fiberglass the interior. But some of them, like obviously these broken ones, will have to be remade or rescaled, because it broke because it was too small to fit over the glove and my hand. I scaled all these to fit my hand without factoring in the fact I'm going to be wearing gloves underneath and then attaching these to gloves. So these will need to be remade. So that's the next thing I'm going to be working on. So two things I'm going to be redoing: the back flaps out of solid plastic, and finalizing all the little finger digits in fiberglass. So yeah, subscribe, keep checking out for more videos, guys. I told you in the very beginning, this is going to be a lot of trial and error, and you're seeing some of the trial and some of the error, and me having to remake some of these various pieces. But hey, that's half the fun. So thanks again, subscribe.